Hi guys, today we are starting section 2-8, which is powers and exponents. And I'm on page 100 in the book. I know you don't have your book at home, but I am going to give you all the notes and problems that you need to keep up, okay? So this is an exponent, and I'm sure you've seen it before. 2 to the 4th power. Now the big number is called the base. Okay, the base is the number that you're going to multiply. And then the little number is called the exponent. And the exponent tells us how many times to multiply the base by itself. So copy these notes down in your math journal, and then I'm going to show you what this looks like if I were to write it out with exponents, or if I were to solve it. So I'm going to write the base, which is 2, 4 times, which is the exponent. So let's do that. 2, oh, I gotta, hold on. My bad. Okay, 2, and remember we're multiplying. Exponents mean to multiply. So I'm going to multiply 2 by itself 4 times. 3, 4. Okay, so 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then if I want to solve that, which we're not, we'll get into that in the second half of the lesson today, but to solve it, I'm just going to multiply. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then I got to keep going with the other numbers that I haven't used yet. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then 8 times 2 is 16. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. Or 2 to the 4th power is 16. Okay? Now, copy this down, and I'll be right back to show you something else. Okay? Okay, so here's an example. We have some letters here, and it says write using exponents. So, the letters that I see are my bases. Okay? They're the big number in the exponent. So I'm going to write each letter that I see 1 time. Okay, I have an A and I have a B. Now I'm going to count how many A's I have, and that becomes my exponent. So I have 1, 2 A's. So it's A to the 2nd power. And then since we're multiplying, I'm going to keep that little dot in there. And then count how many B's you have. So I have 1, 2, 3 B's. So it would be B to the 3rd power. Okay, so the number or letter that you see is your base. And then count how many there are, that's your exponent. And we're going to do some more examples of these in the book right now, so it'll make more sense, okay? So copy that down. Okay, so for this part, again, it says write using exponents. So the number that I see is going to be my base. So I'm going to write 3 as my big number. Then I'm going to count how many 3's there are, and that becomes my exponent. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will be 3 to the 6th power. Now for the next one, I have 2 bases because I see 2 numbers there. So I'm going to write 2 and 3, and then I'm going to count how many there are of each one. So there's 1, 2, 3 2's, and there's 1, 2, 3 3's. Okay? Let's do the next one. The next one is letters. So I see that I have an R and I have an S. So now I'm just going to count how many R's I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to count how many S's I have. 1, 2, 3. All right. And notice I do underline as I count them because sometimes you might get confused of how many there are. So I do write the problem down, underline as I count. That way I don't get lost or confused or count wrong. And then when I'm done, I can see that I definitely counted each one. Like I didn't forget anything, especially when they're out of order. All right, so copy this down and I'll be right back with a couple more. And for this section, it says evaluate each expression. So when it says evaluate, that means I have to give them an answer, like a final answer. So they want me to multiply this out and tell them what the answer is. And I can do this 2 ways. I can break this down to 7 times 7 times 7, and then multiply that on my calculator. So that's how we're going to do it first. So 7 times 7 is 49. And then 49 times 7 is 343. So 7 to the third power is 343. Or you can put it in your calculator, and I'll show you how to do exponents on your calculator. Okay, so on the calculator, if I was going to do 7 to the third power, I would hit 7 on this one, which may be similar to one that you use on your computer. And then I'm going to hit, since it's to the third power, I'm going to hit this X to the N button. And I'm going to hit a 3 because that's my exponent. And then equals. And it gives me 343. Okay? Another way you can do it is you can just multiply 7 3 times on your calculators. You can do 7 times 7 times 7. And you get 343. Okay? On your calculator, hold on one second. Okay, on your calculator, you would hit 7. Sorry, I don't know how to do this well so you can see it. You're going to hit 7. And then you're going to hit this little, it's like an up arrow right here. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, you're going to hit that little up arrow. It's called a caret. And then you're going to hit a 3 and equals. And that should give you, and I hit the wrong sign. Hold on. Backspace. Okay. Hold on, I hit 77 instead of 7. Ah! Okay, so 7 caret 3, and that gives me 343. I don't know if you can see it, but that's how to do it on the calculator. And let's keep going with the rest of the examples, okay? All right, so the next one is 2 to the third power times 6 to the second power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 to the third power, which is 8, and I'm going to write that down, times whatever 6 to the second power is. And I know 6 to the second power is like 6 times 6, which is 36. Okay, so now I have 8 times 36. So these have an extra step because we've got to write down what the exponents equal, and then we got to multiply those together to get the final answer. So let's go do 8 times 36, and we get 288. I'm just going to do it one more time to make sure I didn't do something wrong. Okay, so 288. Okay. So same thing for this one. 4 to the second power is 16. And 5 to the third power, 5 exponent 3, is 125. So now for my final step, I have to multiply 16 times 125. So let's do that. 125 is already there, so I'm just gonna hit times 16, which is 2,000. So this one would be 2,000. All right, one more. So this is a negative exponent. It has a little bit of a special situation. When you have a negative exponent, you cannot solve it while the exponent is negative. So you have to get rid of the negative exponent. So the way to do that is to make it a fraction with a 1 on top. So when we send that exponent below the fraction bar, the negative goes away because we're essentially multiplying 6 to the negative third times itself, basically, which is going to equal a 1 on top. And then on the bottom, it's going to give us that positive 6 to the third power, okay? So once we have it in the fraction form and we've gotten rid of the negative exponent, you're just going to solve the bottom part, but keep it in a fraction with a 1 on top. Now it's always a 1 on top when you're doing this. When you're sending it below to get rid of the negative, always keep a 1 on top. And then I just have to do 6 to the third power. So let's do 6 to the third power, which is 216. All right, so copy all these in your math journal. Let me know if you have any questions, and that is it for your lesson today. And I will see you next time.